proving once again they just keep taking the bait, getting rolled and trolled by the president. The squad, Nancy Botox Pelosi, and Joe has no idea what he's doing Biden, continue to flounder as Trump creates yet another Twitter storm. Good morning, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. Welcome to our Friday edition here on YouTube. Nothing like coffee to get the day started. That said, President Trump began a Twitter storm yet again, tweeting out early Friday morning, "It's amazing how the fake news media became crazed over the chant, 'Send her back,' by a packed arena, a record crowd in the great state of North Carolina, but is totally calm and accepting of the most vile and disgusting statements made by 3 radical left congresswomen." Now, let me explain to you what Trump did in that tweet. First thing he did was he disengaged, dismissed, and disavowed one of the 4 members of the apocalypse, and that would be Representative Presley. What was she there for? I've heard comparisons that she was like Pete Best and the Beatles, and they removed her and then brought in Ringo Starr, and then pretty much the Beatles didn't have much to do with Ringo Starr either. I really don't know what she was there for. I didn't really even remember who she was until I saw her up there in the squad press conference. People know who AOC is. The whole world now knows who Alon Omar is. And of course, who could forget Ms. Tlaib and her telling her son that the best way to deal with bullies like President Trump is to impeach the mother effer. Yeah, that's some real great parenting skill right there. Thank you so much for demonstrating to the world why you're not only not fit to be in Congress, you're really not fit to be a parent either. So the president dismisses one member of the group completely. Talks about the 3 radical left women. But that's not enough. He goes ahead and he has to tweet about the fact that Alon Omar, in walking through an airport in Wisconsin, was mobbed by supporters. To which President Trump wrote, "Mainstream media, which has lost all credibility, has either officially or unofficially become a part of the radical left Democratic Party. It is a sick partnership, so pathetic to watch." The event was obviously staged. It was staged very badly. And this is where I have to agree with some of my other counterparts within the conservative alternative media. When I say conservative alternative media, I'm talking about the guys that are not Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity on major media outlets for television and or radio, but guys that do this, YouTube and other social media platforms. But I have to agree with some of my counterparts. Hollywood is in bed with liberal Democrats. They sponsor the majority of their fundraisers. You have Alyssa Fathead Milano out there constantly, throwing her 2 cents into things that she hasn't been asked to give it in. You got Alec Baldwin, and the list goes on and on and on and on. You've got, the real entrenched true blue give and raise millions of dollars for every liberal cause like Steven Spielberg and Ron Howard and Tom Hanks and the rest. So you would think when the Democrats are going to stage something, you would think they would call their Hollywood friends and directors to help put it together. But they don't. And they do it on their own with these consultants that they hire, and they never pull these things off well. They always look fake. They always look staged, and they always look awkward. And so it was for this love fest visual orgy that we had of supporters coming out for Alon Omar. On that. The woman has a 7% approval rating. 7%. So unless somehow all 7% converged on the airport in Wisconsin to show their support and wave their homemade and professionally printed placards in support of Alon Omar, once again, a fake staged event. But here's really where I'm going with this today. By President Trump doing what he did last weekend, he has cemented the squad, the radical left progressives of the Democratic Party, as the Democratic Party. And proof of that is the fact that Nancy Pelosi and Joe Bonehead Biden keep denying it. They keep saying, look, they do not represent the mainstream of the Democratic Party. The fact that they have to keep saying that proves the fact that Donald Trump, in the minds of voters, in the minds of the casual observer watching the news feed on this, has cemented mainstream, corporate, financially dependent Democratic Party to the radical left. The radical left, which is committed to not only the downturn of America, but the downturn of capitalism. They want to rewrite the Constitution. They are as un-American as can be. And it's amazing to me that Alon Omar and that ilk will wrap themselves in the American flag while they defend the people that burn it, urinate on it, kneel during the national anthem, disparage the flag, disparage what the flag represents, disparage our Constitution, disparage this great republic, disparage this country continually over and over and over. But yet, when she wants to defend herself, all of a sudden she's just a proud flag-waving American. No, she's a Trojan horse. And I know some of you were a little upset yesterday that President Trump, in a press conference, when asked about the chant, send her back, said that he wasn't comfortable with that and he didn't like it. And some of you lost it. Why would he do that? Why would he defend her? Don't give these liberals an inch. I'm going to say this again. Trump does not play tic-tac-toe. Trump plays chess. And he already sees several moves down the board. He knew full well, whether he disavowed that comment or not, they were still going to try to hang Trump with the send her back. So what does Trump do? And again, this is a strategic move on his part. He comes out sounding as if, that's probably not the best thing that we should be saying in a rally like that. Knowing full well the media's still going to go crazy with it, and that Alon Omar and that little trollop, AOC, who reminds me, well, never mind. My wife says I need to be a little kinder and gentler. He knew full well they were still going to come out, even after he tried to walk back the chant that he didn't create, supporters of this rally in North Carolina created. He knew full well that AOC and Alon Omar were still going to jump him for that, and the media would be right there to be complicit and duplicit and pour gas on the fire. So that's why he was then able to say, you know, it's amazing. The media will jump down my throat over some people saying send her back, but never jump down the throat of the radical left and the vile, vulgar things they say about me, about Israel, about our country. Boom! See, he snagged them again. And so now, the chant send her back is going to be the mantra and rally cry at every single Trump rally going forward. And you know why? Because the president wants it that way. I told you yesterday, he has his new nemesis. Now, Elon says, I will enjoy this fight with Donald Trump. Oh, no, you won't, sweet pea. Just ask the other people that have wrestled with Donald Trump and look what's happened to them. So you go right ahead. You go right ahead, put that thing in your nose or nostril and wrap your head, but I'm promising you, you're going to need to wrap your ego and have a support team around you after the president makes absolute verbal mincemeat out of you. Okay. Live and learn. But I'll tell you something else that the president has strategically done here. By, again, starting another Twitter storm on a Friday going into the weekend, because he's letting the Pentagon, he's letting military leaders hash out this stuff with Iran. He is ensuring that the news cycle over the weekend is about him and the war with the squad. And what that does is that keeps reinforcing that the squad is the face of the Democratic Party. How much coverage are we seeing right now of the 2020 Democratic primary? How many stories are you seeing about One-Eyed Sleepy Joe or Beto O'Rourke or any of these women that are running for the presidency that are now trying to throw them, Kamala Harris, she's trying to get out there and defend the squad so that she gets some kind of news coverage of some kind. President Trump has effectively sucked the air out of the room for the Democratic primary. And he has put all eyes in the news cycle, and from the Americans that are paying attention to the news cycle right now, all eyes are on these leftist women. Nancy Pelosi has completely lost control of her party. Chuck E. Cheese Schumer is kind of wandering around going, he's now promising reparations. See, when you have nothing to run on and you have no ideas, you have to buy votes. And members of Black America have wised up to this. They see this for the plantation move that it is, that you are this lesser, lower life form, inferior race. You can't take care of yourself. You can't make it without us, the Democratic Party, and you need to live in government housing and eat free cheese and let us take care of you, and we'll give you a check every month just because you're black and you might have had ancestors who were slaves. See, they're telling you that you're stupid, you're inferior, and you need them, and you better vote for them. They're buying your vote, like the Democrats bought your ancestors on the auction block. Because remember, when slavery ended, it was the Democrats who didn't want to reunite with the Union. It was the Democrats who formed the Ku Klux Klan. We call them Dixiecrats. That's real history. Sorry if it's painful. And now, that same Democratic Party, which has completely lost control of the radical left, is the radical left. So all you working people out there, you military vets, the fact that this Pete Buttigieg, or Buttgig, or whatever his name is, a veteran, but an out-of-the-closet homosexual running for the presidency, and that's his only shtick. And he cooked himself when he couldn't handle a mob of, 15, 18 people over a police shooting in South Bend. If he can't handle that, what is he actually going to do on the national and the world stage? Nothing. Fold like a cheap suit. Bernie Sanders' numbers have completely tanked. Joe Biden has completely plateaued, and they're going to hang the racist thing around him, and this has got to be blowing Joe's mind, because Joe and Nancy, some of those original white liberals who used to throw the word racist around to intimidate Republicans, have now bred an offspring of hybrid humanoid politicians called the radical progressive left, who have so been entrenched and believed all of just the talking points that Nancy and Chucky have spewed through the centuries, that now they're so immersed in the fact that anything that disagrees with them is racist, they'll even say it to their own. And behind closed doors, Nancy and Chuck and Joe Biden have got to be looking at each other saying, what's going on? What happened? The illegitimate love children you guys created back in your psychedelic 60s, and your free love and your free perversion and your free thought and all of this recouching and remarketing Marxism as liberal Democrat, socialist Democrat hogwash has now come back to bite you. Or, in the words of Malcolm X, your chickens have come home to roost. deal with it. Oh, you can't, because they run the show now, and they're about to run you out of town. And President Trump, in yet another masterful stroke, has now completely cemented the squad to the face of the Democratic Party. And they're so easy to troll that no matter what he says, they're going to respond immediately. And Nancy can't put a bit in their mouth. She can't pull them back. She can't stop them. And she can come out and say, that doesn't represent the views of the party. Chuck E. Cheese can come out and say, that doesn't represent the views of the party. Joe Bonehead Biden can drool and stumble and stammer, and his campaign speeches, which are totally incoherent, and he's got problems worse than Hillary did, though the media's not showing you any of that out there on the campaign trail. My prediction is within a couple of weeks, he steps out of the race due to health concerns. I think that's coming. But here we have Alon Omar, who, by the way, there's all kinds of reports circulating out there that to beat the immigration system and get here and get free education, she married her brother. The Wisconsin media has been trying to screen this out, and the mainstream lying, legacy, corporate, corrupt, cover-up media won't pick it up. So do I think an incredible groundswell of support showed up at the airport for her? No, it's fake news. Contrived, created, concocted, made up. And they didn't even do a good job at it. And now every time Trump says anything about the squad of three, he's kicked Presley to the curb. That's going to get her angry. Watch. Some other lesser Democrat who wants to get a couple of headlines is going to come out and say, oh, Trump excluded her because she's black. Here it comes. Get ready. And again, I told you this the other day, and I reinforce it. Any of us who vote for Trump, we're the racists, we're the problem. That's going to be the new attack line of the Democrats. And all they're doing is self-destructing. And I love it. And all I can say is, I'm going to pour gas on the fire every chance I can. I'm going to drink my coffee, my bottled water, my once-a-day Coke Zero no sugar, and eat a lot of popcorn, and enjoy every minute of this sideshow. And again, a thumbs up and a kudos to Donald Trump. Don't worry. You'll be able to say send her back every place, every campaign rally, because he tried. He tried to disavow it. She had to come out with the goon AOC and still talk smack. And the media had to protect her, and the media had to create an event for her. And so now Trump has basically said, I tried to be the nice guy, you wouldn't let me, so now that Trojan horse, that radical Islam who wants to change our country, who wants to shred the Constitution, who wants to piss on the American flag, who wants to take her oath on the Koran and replace our Constitution with Sharia law, send her back. That's it. That's my rant for today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning this way. Make sure you share this everywhere. And for people who might ask you, is he really a pastor? Yeah, I am. I have a degree in theology and everything. What I'm not is a politically correct, bought into the liberal agenda pastor. We got enough of them masquerading and pretending in pulpits across America. No, I'm your pre-PC pastor. Or as I like to say on my radio show, your irreverent reverend of the airwaves. You're completely adorable, deplorable. That's it. You have a great day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and smack the bell for my next rant.